Welcome back, everybody. Today is Christmas. We're going to have to find something to do down here in the garage. So I'll be right back and we'll see what we can get into. Well, it's too cold outside to get this out and drive it. It don't have nothing but water and water wetter in it. So it's supposed to warm up towards weekend, so we might make a new video towards next weekend. But today, I guess we're going to plug away Project Phoenix here. I'm going to work on getting the fuel rail and all our accessories on it. Getting everything kind of buttoned back up. Obviously, I still don't have an oil filter and I don't have a new drive belt. But I'm going to kind of plug along. We're going to mess with a few other things. And I come in here this morning. I had a set of decap flex fuel injectors in this LS intake from the LSX Metro. So what I want to do, I'd come in here this morning and realize that my fuel line release tool was in my toolbox at the other shop. I'm not going to drive over and get it. So another budget tip, you can take an old credit card, you can heat it with a lighter or a torch. You can form it around a screwdriver or a small 1/4-inch drive socket or something. But basically, you make yourself a fuel line release tool that way. Works real well. Almost works better than tools sometimes. But for now, I'm going to work on getting these flex fuel injectors put in the fuel rail over here. These do have an EV1 adapter on them, but they do have the same plug as our 3800 injectors. Don't know what the flow rate is on these, but I had some LS7 injectors over there and some others left over from various projects. But these have less than 300 miles on them, and they're clean. So we're going to put them in there since we're going to turbo this motor. Well, we're about an hour and a half later. You can see I kind of got a contraption over here going on, some WD-40 and a little cup cleaner over there. Well, the L33 flex fuel injectors I got are actually shorter than these. I didn't realize that the end of this injector was actually a cut. So I got to digging around and I dug out the LS7 injectors I had. These are 50-pound injectors. Well, you combine them with a spacer on the bottom down here, and you end up being longer than these injectors. Well, the important thing to notice is where the taper's at. The taper's about dead on. It's going to put our injector further down the intake. I done measured these stop about 1/4 of the way in the intake right here. These go about 3/4. So it'll just be a little closer to the airstream at the exit. Shouldn't cause an issue. So instead of our decap flex fuels, we're going to run with these. 50-pound injector should support more than enough power. I'll drop the calculations over here right now, so we can see what I'm doing. But I want to continue on. I just have my little power probe out, and as you can see, I got one of my adapters rigged up here. That, and got an air blower down here on the floor. I back flush these injectors after soaking them in some lacquer thinner. Filled the little spark plug boot up with WD-40 and then threw the air to it as I pulsed it as fast as I could. I did find one bad fuel injector, which is this one. It blows air through it even with it off. So those are still good. There's 6 good ones there. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get back busy, and I'll be back. Well, after a ton of monkeying around here, I ended up using the V6 cups, having to find some O-rings that fit the injector and the cup. And then I ended up having to space up the fuel rail about 1/4 of an inch right here, all the way around. But we got our 50-pound injectors in. I stuck the rear bracket on that holds the engine cover, where I could just check, because this fuel rail is raised up right here just a little bit. If you remember one of my previous videos, I raised the engine cover up so it would actually stick through the rear panel back here. So, good thing is, none of that stuff's relatively changed there. Also got our AN fitting adapter screwed on our fuel rail. I just got old fitting screwed on here with a cap on the end to keep fuel from running out of it. So now I'm going to work on getting my accessories back on. Once my accessories are back on, we're going to come in here and we're going to throw these axle seals in. And put the oil drain plug back in down there. And we're going to put a pan gasket and a filter on the transmission. Spin it around, do the cooler line fittings. So I'll be back in just a few. Well, it's quite a bit later. And as you can see, I've moved the motor. So I got to put one of the lift brackets on it. Still got to put the plug wires back on it. But otherwise, it's together. Still haven't done transmission pan or cooler lines. I just haven't had time. If this could have went wrong today, it's went wrong. So it's been another one of those days. Just kind of going cautiously at this point. But I did get our accessory bracket back on there, and I did paint it in alternator. Just to make it look a little bit better. Did get our axle seals in there. As you can see, the axles are in the floor. Trying to debate if I'm going to tackle the pan and the other today, or if I'm just going to put it back up in the car and do it in the car, because it'll be easier to get it up a little higher. Where it's at, it's sitting on a set of dollies, and you have to lay on the ground and use a ratchet. I get it back in the car and lift it up and, use electric tools. So we'll just see what happens and see how that goes. But I'm going to get the plug wires cleaned up, get them back on there. I'm going to get that other bracket over here back on the motor. And we'll go from there. Well, moved the motor over here. Moved that over here a little more. Moved this over there. And I cleaned up the mess on the floor from the past few days. Don't you wish stuff would just jump back in where it goes? Maybe something like, well, looked like that worked. It's almost in there. Very little of our quick color from our spray paint review video on the washers for the back side here. And that's basically all that's left, is to put them washers on there, bolt the rear half down, and I'll finish tightening the front down. The motor's back in the car. And the good thing is, it frees me up quite a bit of room down here. So that makes me happy. I may go ahead and stick the front wheels back on it too. Even though I've still not put the brake hoses on it. I kind of want to see how it's going to sit with the coilovers all the way down. So, might do that. But I want to get back busy. Just wanted to show y'all that the motor and the subframe is back in the car. At least made a little progress. Well, I got the wheels back on the front. I had to put a slight spacer in here. While it's not really rubbing, it's touching. Not a big deal. It's got long wheel studs in the front. We can come out about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Got plenty of spring here. Obviously, we don't have fuel. We don't have a battery. We don't have coolant in it, or front end, or anything else. But we're below the center of the rocker, but the center line of the wheel. So that's looking positive for me. The rear, I moved their dollies. They're now under the front of the subframe. So now the rear of the car is high enough. I can get up under there and work on it. So I'm going to start changing that transmission pan gasket. I've still got a pan full of oil out of the motor. I just set it outside for now. So while I got a pan full of oil, I'm going to go ahead and get this transmission pan off, get it cleaned up, sealed up, and back under the car. So be back in just a few. Well, I got the transmission pan off. Got it kind of cleaned up here. I got to sit over here where I take it to the shop with me tomorrow. I'm going to paint it, and I got to weld a little hole up in it. Run out of brake cleaner, so I'm going to take my bolts also and clean them up. Got to order a PVC valve kit, as normal with a 3.8 or a 3800. Broke the map sensor off. Broke a tab off. It happens. Stuff's old and brittle. So, we got our motor, like I said earlier, our motor's back in the car. I'll turn this light off. It's kind of washing everything out. But got the motor back in. It looks a lot better than what it did. Subframe still ain't perfect, but it's not all greasy, nasty. I'm not going to go to a big bunch of effort to worry about making it beautiful. Because, once again, you're not going to see it. The only part of it you'll see, rear bumper does have cutouts in it, will be the back half of it here. And I may go in and clean a little more just on what you see, or I may come in here and rattle it there with some of that high heat silver. But that's going to be it for a video today. So if you like this kind of stuff, you know, dirt cheap budget stuff, which is exactly what this is, it's on the little nicer side. I spent some money in some places to make stuff a little nicer and more reliable. But you can literally do this however you wish if you do something like this. So if you don't care, like this video, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe and hit that little bell down there so you stay updated on this stuff. Not going to be long. We're going to be back on all four wheels, and we're going to get down to some wiring bits and some other stuff. So I'll see you tomorrow.